Who was Babani Sissoko, and how did he use black magic to amass a fortune that made him one of the richest men in Africa? This intriguing tale begins in the heartland of West Africa, in the nation of Mali. Born into humble beginnings, a young man named Babani Sissoko was destined to embark on an extraordinary journey, a journey shrouded in mystery and unparalleled intrigue. From an early age, whispers of Sissoko's unusual abilities and uncanny wisdom began to circulate within his community. These rumors, however, were only the tip of the iceberg. Beneath the surface, a much larger story was brewing, one that would eventually sweep Sissoko into a world of unimaginable wealth and power. But how did this remarkable transformation occur, and what role did the mystical arts play in his meteoric rise? Babani Sissoko's life was about to take a turn that no one could have predicted. In his youth, Babani Sissoko had a fateful encounter that would change his life forever. As the tale goes, Sissoko, then a young man with dreams bigger than his pockets, came face to face with a jinn. Now, for those unfamiliar, a jinn, or genie as it's often called, is a supernatural entity rooted deeply in Islamic mythology. These beings, often seen as neither good nor evil, hold immense power and are believed to exist in a realm separate from our own. In the vast stretches of the African wilderness, under a sky punctuated with 1,000,000 stars, Sissoko found himself alone with this entity. The jinn, a formidable figure with eyes glowing like embers, stood before him. The air was electric. The silence was palpable. Sissoko, though filled with fear, held his ground. He was, after all, a man with a mission. In a voice that echoed through the still night, the jinn asked Sissoko what he desired most. Without a moment's hesitation, Sissoko replied, "Wealth." He did not ask for wealth out of greed, but rather a deep-seated desire to elevate his life and the lives of those around him. The jinn, moved by Sissoko's audacity and sincerity, granted his wish. But this was no ordinary granting of wealth. The jinn bestowed upon Sissoko a unique power, the ability to summon wealth at will. Imagine that. The ability to conjure riches out of thin air, to turn nothing into something with just a thought. From that day forward, Sissoko's life took a turn for the extraordinary. He was no longer just a young man with dreams. He had become a man with the power to make those dreams a reality. The encounter with the jinn was the spark that ignited his rise to wealth. The jinn had bestowed upon Sissoko a power that would catapult him into a world of unimaginable wealth. And so the stage was set for Sissoko's spectacular journey from obscurity to opulence. A journey that would be as captivating as it was controversial. With his newfound powers, Babani Sissoko began his journey towards unimaginable wealth. In the heart of Mali, a new story was beginning to unfold. This was a tale of a man who, through his mysterious powers, began to amass a fortune that would soon become the stuff of legends. Sissoko started small, opting to invest in modest businesses within his homeland. He knew the terrain, he knew the people, and most importantly, he knew how to make money from it all. These were not just ordinary business ventures, they were ventures fueled by something beyond the reach of ordinary men. Rumors began to circulate about the man who seemed to have a Midas touch, a man whose ventures were never touched by the cold grasp of failure. His businesses flourished, and so did his wealth. Gradually, Sissoko expanded his reach. Africa was no longer a large enough playground for his ambitions. He set his sights on the world beyond, spreading his influence across continents. From real estate ventures in the Middle East to high-end luxury hotels in Europe, his business empire grew in scope and scale. What was remarkable was not just the magnitude of his wealth, but the speed at which it accumulated. His rise was meteoric, stirring whispers of wonder and disbelief. It was as if he had a magic wand that turned everything he touched into gold. Yet amidst this dazzling display of wealth, there was an air of mystery. Questions began to surface. How was it possible for one man to amass such a fortune in such a short time? Was it the result of shrewd business acumen, or was there something more, something hidden from the eyes of the world? The answers remained elusive, shrouded in the enigmatic persona of Babani Sissoko. It seemed that the man himself was a riddle, wrapped in a mystery, inside an enigma. But one thing was certain. In no time, Sissoko had become one of the richest men in Africa. Babani Sissoko was living a life that many could only dream of. In the world of the wealthy, Sissoko was the epitome of extravagance. He was a man who moved in circles most of us could only imagine. His lifestyle was a whirlwind of luxury, a spectacle of wealth that left onlookers in awe. Sissoko's world was one of private jets, whisking him from one corner of the globe to the other. These were not just any private jets, but the most lavish in the world, with interiors that rivaled the grandeur of royal palaces. Gold fixtures, plush velvet seating, and gourmet meals served mid-air were just a few of the indulgences that were commonplace for Sissoko. His residences were no less impressive. Sprawling mansions in some of the world's most exclusive locations were his homes. These were places where opulence was the norm, where gold-plated bathroom fixtures and silk bed linens were not extravagances, but necessities. The grandeur was not just confined to the interiors. The exteriors boasted of manicured lawns, ornate fountains, and elaborate sculptures, all adding to the aura of grandeur that surrounded Sissoko. But it wasn't just the material possessions that defined Sissoko's high life. The man had an uncanny knack for making high-profile contacts. He rubbed shoulders with world leaders, influential business tycoons, and celebrities. His charm and charisma were legendary. He was a man who could walk into a room and command attention, a man who left people in awe, not just because of his wealth, but because of the aura of power and influence that he exuded. Yet for all the glitz and glamour, there was a sense of mystery that surrounded Sissoko. His wealth was immense, his lifestyle extravagant, but where it all came from was a question that lingered in the minds of many. Whispers began to circulate, whispers that hinted at a source of wealth that was as intriguing as the man himself. But behind the glitz and glamour, there were whispers about the source of Sissoko's wealth. However, every story has its climax, and Babani Sissoko's was about to arrive. The man who had navigated the world with the jinn's guidance and amassed a fortune beyond most people's wildest dreams was about to face his downfall. It was a turn of events as unpredictable and dramatic as the rise that had preceded it. In 1997, Sissoko's extravagant lifestyle and questionable business dealings caught the attention of the authorities. His arrest sent shockwaves through the high societies he had been a part of, his name becoming a symbol of intrigue and scandal overnight. The trial that followed was as memorable as the man himself. Accusations of fraud and money laundering were thrown around like confetti, painting a picture of a man who had used more than just black magic to accumulate his wealth. But even in the face of adversity, Sissoko's charisma and mystique didn't waver. He defended himself with the same charm and wit that had won him friends and influence. However, the scales of justice were not swayed by charm alone. He was found guilty and sentenced, marking the end of his high-flying days. The aftermath of Sissoko's downfall left a trail of questions and doubts. How much of his wealth was really from the jinn, and how much was from less magical means? Was he truly the man he claimed to be, or was he a master of illusion and manipulation? These questions still linger today, adding to the enigma that is Babani Sissoko. His legacy, though tainted by scandal, remains fascinating. Sissoko's life is a testament to the power of belief and the lengths people will go to achieve their dreams. His tale has been told and retold, each retelling adding a new layer to the legend of the man who supposedly used black magic to become one of Africa's richest men. Babani Sissoko's tale is a reminder that reality can sometimes be stranger than fiction. So, was Babani Sissoko a master illusionist, a gifted businessman, or a man touched by the supernatural? Let's ponder over this for a moment. This man, born in a humble village in Mali, rose to astonishing wealth, allegedly with the help of a jinn. He lived a life of opulence, throwing money around like confetti, only to face a downfall as dramatic as his rise. The enigma of Babani Sissoko has sparked countless theories. Some believe he was a brilliant con artist using tales of black magic to pull off one of the biggest frauds in history. Others argue that he was an astute businessman who knew how to play his cards right. Then there are those who insist he indeed had a supernatural benefactor. Despite the many theories, the mystery of Babani Sissoko's wealth remains an unsolved puzzle. We may never know the truth about Babani Sissoko, but his story continues to captivate us to this day.